Destiny 2 has a ton of exotics. Some are absolutely insane, and others just aren't even worth being an exotic. In today's video, we're going to go over the 5 best exotics that you might have forgotten even existed. Some of these exotics haven't been in the meta for so long that people just forgot about them and didn't bother to take a look at the buffs that they've received over the years, or just simply they like another exotic better. So let's take a look at the top 5 exotics that you may have forgotten even existed. Coming in at the number 5 slot, we have the Salvation's Grip, a unique heavy stasis grenade launcher. When the Salvation's Grip first launched, really it was only used for quests within the Lightfall campaign and climbing out of bounds thanks to the crystals it's created. The actual weapon was pretty terrible, only creating one stasis crystal that varied in size depending on how much the weapon was charged. After a massive rework to the weapon, it is significantly better than it once was. Its exotic perk, Cryo Cannon, remains fundamentally unchanged. The only change the rework brought to this perk, it now spawns multiple stasis crystals instead of one big one. Then its other unique perk is Shatter Shot, which makes the weapon's uncharged projectiles deal bonus damage to crystals and frozen targets. It will also reload your weapon from reserves when you destroy multiple crystals. The idea of this weapon is to fire a group of crystals at the enemies and then shatter them with an uncharged shot. And repeat. Alternatively, you can use other means to destroy the crystals, but that's the idea of it. It's by no means a god tier weapon, but an improvement from launch, and you should give it a go. Coming in at the number 4 spot is the Trespasser. Now, I did a full DPS breakdown of the Trespasser when it originally received its buff, but I still very rarely see this weapon being used. If you want the full breakdown video, I'll put that in the cards now. The Trespasser is a great arc sidearm with its exotic perk Unrepentant. It allows you to fire a super burst after reloading shortly after getting a kill. Then its other unique perk, Be the Danger, allows you to continually chain this super burst. Getting a kill with the super burst will give you another super burst and reload the weapon. Being able to one burst most yellow bar enemies is pretty insane, considering this is a primary sidearm. If you haven't tried the Trespasser or you forgot it existed, try it out. You will have a ton of fun using it. Coming in at number 3, we have another exotic sidearm, and this time it is the Devil's Ruin. The Devil's Ruin is another weapon I did a full breakdown on in a dedicated video, which I'll link in the cards now. The Devil's Ruin is a unique sidearm that features a fusion rifle-like alternate fire mode. The exotic perk Close the Gap allows the weapon to fire a staggering beam of energy that will reload the mag thanks to its other perk, Pyrogenesis. You're able to fire the weapon normally and then finish off with a beam of laser, which will use the entire mag in laser form, even if you only had one bullet left in the mag. Because of the time it takes to charge and fire off the laser, equipping a holster mod will allow just enough time to reload the weapon in between shots, so you can quickly swap between all weapons during a DPS phase without having to reload, just like this. The Devil's Ruin is great for both DPS and general play. It will take some practice to use, but I recommend giving it a go and seeing if you can get that damage rotation down. In the number 2 slot, we have the Wordline Zero. Now, the Wordline Zero started as a speedrunner's wet dream, but once the speedrunning usefulness of this weapon was nerfed, it flew under the radar for a very long time, until a few months ago when it received a fairly sizable buff. This weapon is now great as they modified the weapon to be able to chain heavy attacks. Essentially, this weapon is a vortex frame sword on crack. Its exotic perk, Tesseract, reads, use while sprinting with full energy to launch a heavy blink attack. Press again after the strike to blink a second time. Being able to blink a second time actually lets you get through champions fairly consistently. Now, I wouldn't take it into a Grandmaster, but it's a fun weapon to use. And in the number 1 slot, the weapon that a large amount of casual players probably forgot existed, it's the Lumina. The Lumina, when used correctly, is a fantastic weapon, but for those who just use it as a weapon to fire and heal their allies, they may have found it underwhelming. The Lumina provides one of the highest damage buffs in the game and can be used to increase boss DPS. But if you don't know this, you probably would have thought the Lumina was a silly little support weapon that a Warlock can do with his Rift and the boots of the Assembler. That's all for this video. Let me know what off-meta and forgotten exotics you're using. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like or even a cheeky sub. If you'd like to connect with me, my Twitch, Twitter, and Discord are in the description below. And until next time, I'll see you on stream.